Dumbledore vs. Voldemort, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. A battle between these two powerhouses of wizardry was nothing short of inevitable, and it doesn't take much to understand why. On one side, we have Dumbledore, undoubtedly one of the wisest and most morally grounded wizards in all of fiction, and on the other, we have the Dark Lord Voldemort, who's essentially the very embodiment of everything that's wrong in the world. Underneath all of the pageantry and special effects, this is a battle between good and evil in its purest form. Never one for subtlety, Voldemort wastes no time and throws out a flaming serpent big enough to devour anything that stands in its way. An unshaken Dumbledore responds, magically creating a massive sphere of water and trapping the Dark Lord inside of it. Even though the fight unfolds in the grand atrium of the Ministry of Magic, Voldemort displays utter disrespect to the majestic place by shattering the windows and sending the shards flying at Dumbledore like a storm containing thousands of knives. But once again, Dumbledore proves that he's ready for anything that Voldemort throws at him, and he effortlessly turns all of the shards into mere sand. As you can see, the movies give us a typical elemental showdown, water versus fire, light versus dark, but if you crack open the book, there's an extra layer of savagery. Book Dumbledore sends Fawkes the Phoenix to intercept a killing curse, animates statues to block attacks, and basically wields the environment to his will like he's playing a very high-stake game of chess. All of that, along with the fact that he remains completely unfazed the entire time, is why Dumbledore stays 10 moves ahead, forcing Voldemort to retreat and reconsider all of his life choices. The Mountain vs. the Viper, Game of Thrones. Accused of murdering his cruel nephew, King Joffrey, Tyrion Lannister's life hangs in the balance, and there's only one way for him to live, a trial by combat. There's just one problem, though. His opponent is Sir Gregor the Mountain Clegane, a 6'9" giant infamous for committing countless war crimes. Not wanting to be crushed to a pulp, Tyrion searches for a champion to fight on his behalf, and he finds him in the form of Oberyn the Red Viper Martell. The prince of the extravagant region of Dorne and a lover of fine wine, Oberyn has been chomping at the bit to get his hands on the mountain. From the start, Oberyn treats the duel less like a fight to the death and more like a very personal sermon. He's not just aiming to kill the mountain, he's aiming to make him confess to the brutal murder of his sister Elia and her children. The mountain swings his sword like he's trying to decapitate an elephant, but Oberyn dances around him with the smug confidence of a man who knows that he's more skilled in every way. Oberyn's footwork, flexibility, and precision make Gregor look like he's moving underwater. The crowd's ecstatic, and Tyrion starts to believe that he might actually live. And then hubris takes center stage. Oberyn severely wounds the mountain, but he refuses to finish the job until he gets a confession that he's been craving for many years. But in his dying rage, the mountain suddenly sweeps Oberyn's legs, grabs him, completely gouges out his eyes, and he literally crushes his skull with his bare hands. All while Tyrion, the whole arena, and everyone watching at home, looks on in traumatized silence. Gandalf vs. Durin's Bane, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. During their long and dangerous journey to Mount Doom, the Fellowship of the Ring are chased by overwhelming forces of orcs through the mines of Moria, when suddenly the air temperature spikes. Out of the darkness appears Durin's Bane, an ancient 20-foot-tall Balrog made of shadow and flame. And deciding to take it upon himself, Gandalf the Grey, an Astari wizard sent by the Valar to protect Middle-earth, steps out onto the bridge of Khazad-dûm and plants himself, determined to not let the Balrog through. Durin's Bane charges, sword blazing, but Gandalf's magic shatters it in a burst of light. He then utters one of the most iconic lines of all time, say it with me, "You shall not pass," and he drives his staff into the bridge, breaking it clean in half and sending Durin's Bane plummeting into the abyss. Fight over, right? Oh no. The Balrog manages to grab Gandalf's foot with a whip, pulling the wizard down with him. Their battle rages, and the pair freefall through chasms, climb up endless staircases, and finally, in an epic mountaintop showdown at the peak of the world, Gandalf smites the Balrog with a thunderous sword strike to the chest. But having exhausted himself, the old wizard dies shortly afterwards. Or so it seems. You see, it turns out when you take down an ancient fire demon, you kind of level up and you earn a new class, and so Gandalf is resurrected, this time as Gandalf the White, an even stronger and wiser wizard dedicated to protecting the world. Obi-Wan Kenobi vs. Anakin Skywalker, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. This fight between teacher and student kicks off on the volcanic hellscape of Mustafar. Anakin, now Darth Vader in everything but the signature black outfit, has just committed 2 massacres, killing hundreds at least. Following Anakin's trail, Obi-Wan shows up for what quickly turns into a masterclass in choreographed lightsaber manipulation. From the very first clash, it's clear that they know each other's every move. They trained together, fought side by side for years, and now they're mirroring each other's attacks in what looks like a bloodthirsty dance-off. The fight tears through control rooms, over catwalks, and onto floating platforms above rivers of lava. And when the platform itself falls down a waterfall of lava, the two end up balancing on small droids flying mere inches above the churning death soup boiling beneath them. You'd think that'd be enough to call a temporary truce, but no, they don't even stop to catch their breath. More than the blows Obi-Wan and Anakin deliver, it's the dialogue between each strike that truly hits. Every spin, leap, and force push is personal. This isn't Jedi versus Sith, it's brother versus brother. The fight ends on the infamous high ground. Obi-Wan, standing above Anakin, warns him not to try it, but Anakin tries it anyway, and he leaps forward in a Hail Mary attempt. In response, Obi-Wan, being the unparalleled Jedi Master that he is, slices off Anakin's legs and an arm while he's still in the air, leaving him dismembered on the lava shore. Unable to deliver the final blow, a heartbroken Obi-Wan walks away, while an everything else broken Anakin is consumed by fire and rage, setting the stage for his return as the galaxy's most feared Force user. Achilles vs. Hector. Troy. Even to this day, the city of Troy is widely recognized for its formidable defenses of the time, which makes what Achilles did all the more impressive, borderline unbelievable. Having lost his cousin to Hector, Troy's prince, Achilles approaches the city's walls all alone, wearing nothing but light armor. With not a shred of fear visible, Achilles demands that Hector face him in a fight to the death outside of the gates of his own city. Now, normally this would be a death wish, but not when your name is Achilles, the greatest Greek warrior to have ever lived. Instead of ordering his archers to simply shoot Achilles dead, Hector, ever the honorable man, agrees to go out by himself and fight Achilles man-to-man. This will end up being the last mistake that the beloved prince ever makes. Achilles circles Hector like a predator about to devour its prey, tossing out feints and sudden bursts of speed, and Hector, to his credit, stands his ground, landing solid blows and forcing Achilles to actually work for it, which, judging by Achilles' massive kill count, is kinda rare. Perhaps the most gripping thing about this fight is its pacing. Achilles moves with surgical precision, his every slash and stab aimed to end his opponent's life. You know how this ends, but you still lean forward, hoping that Hector might just pull something off, but alas, it is not to be. Hector ends up being disarmed, and Achilles delivers a spear to the shoulder, followed by a fatal stab to the chest. And if he hasn't embarrassed the Trojans enough, Achilles then ties Hector's body to his chariot, and he drags it around Troy for days before taking it back to his camp, forcing Hector's father, the king of Troy himself, to go and beg for his son's body so they can properly bury him. Absolutely devastating. Harry Potter vs. Voldemort. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. After 7 books, 8 films, and countless near-death experiences, we finally got it. The fight that the franchise has been building up to for a decade. Harry Potter faces off against his arch-nemesis, Lord Voldemort, one last time. While there are many reasons as to why this duel needed to happen, there's actually a single poetic line that perfectly sums it all up. Neither can live while the other survives. This is the prophecy that's spoken by the divination Professor Trelawney, clearly stating that Harry and Voldemort simply cannot coexist, and at the final battle of Hogwarts, where the future of the entire wizarding world hangs in the balance, this inevitable battle takes center stage. With the Elder Wand in hand, Voldemort confidently walks into Hogwarts like he owns the place, and Harry faces his old adversary with a heart of steel. The duel plays out as a chaotic, castle-smashing chase across Hogwarts. The pair crash through stone walls, teleport mid-fight, and throw killing curses and endless disarming charms at each other. Voldemort's spells are raw, explosive, and completely unrestrained, and in contrast, Harry's style is tighter and more defensive as he searches for the one counterstrike that'll end it all. Thankfully, as this clash carries on, Harry's friends manage to destroy the final fragment of Voldemort's soul, which he had hidden in certain objects called Horcruxes. Sensing the tides turning, the Elder Wand decides to abandon ship, and it pops out of Voldemort's hand. Betrayed by the disloyal superweapon and having lost his last Horcrux, Voldemort literally peels away into nothing, as if his very atoms are done putting up with him. And this is when we finally get the payoff that we've all been waiting for. The boy who lived at last becomes the boy who won. Neo vs. Agent Smith. The Matrix. Up until this fight, Neo has been on the run, dodging bullets and showing off impressive fighting skills, proving that he was truly destined to rebel against the simulated reality of the Matrix. Meanwhile, the Matrix's antivirus Agent Smith has been relentlessly pursuing Neo, all while spitting out seemingly never-ending monologues about how flawed and worthless humanity is. By the time they meet on that subway platform, it's clear that there's no more running. Smith charges in with bone-crunching punches, mechanical and brutally efficient, and Neo counters with pure martial arts flair as he dodges, spins, and delivers mid-air kicks. They smash through pillars and shatter walls until eventually Smith gains the upper hand and turns Neo's organs into jelly with an infinitely fast flurry of punches. The two end up on the subway track, where Smith holds Neo in place, and mustering his strength up, Neo suddenly flips the script, hurling Smith into the path of an oncoming train, seemingly killing him. Neo barely escapes, and for a moment there it seems like he might have actually made it. That is until Smith simply respawns and suddenly appears in front of Neo in the hallway and fires multiple bullets right into his chest. And that's when it happens. Instead of dying, Neo wakes up, and proves that he really is the One. Bullets stop in mid-air at his command, and when Smith comes at him again, Neo casually swats his punches aside with one hand like he doesn't even care. And then, diving into Smith's very code, Neo explodes the agent from inside in a ripple of light and digital distortion. It's an incredible battle, and if there's one thing that we've all learned from rewatching this fight scene countless times, it's that Keanu Reeves literally does not age. Yoda vs. Darth Sidious, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. When the galaxy's most powerful Sith Lord faces off against the Jedi Grand Master, you know the battle will change the course of history. With the Jedi Order basically extinct and Anakin completely turned to the dark side, Yoda decides it's time that he takes Emperor Darth Sidious out himself. Sidious gloats with enthusiasm befitting someone with a decades-long master plan. Yoda, on the other hand, confidently walks into the Emperor's office like it's just another regular fight. The duel kicks off with Sidious hurling Yoda across the room with his ultra-powerful lightning, which would have been enough to fry anyone else to a crisp, but Yoda tanks the hit like it's nothing. Swords ignite, and suddenly Yoda is bouncing off the walls and spinning around like a lightsaber-powered tornado. Things escalate quickly, and they crash into the Senate chamber, turning the galaxy's political heart into the ultimate dueling arena, where Sidious starts hurling entire Senate pods with the Force, using the symbols of democracy themselves as weapons, all while cackling the entire time. Eventually returning to his signature lightning bolts, Sidious is shocked when Yoda somehow blocks them with his bare hands and nearly manages to turn them back on the Emperor. But unfortunately, the enormous energy between them causes a massive explosion, and the blast knocks them both apart. Ever devilish, Sidious manages to hold onto a guardrail, but Yoda ends up falling a long way down. Injured and realizing that Sidious cannot yet be defeated, Yoda retreats into exile, and that's how the greatest Jedi Master ever winds up living in a swamp, eating soup, and mentoring Luke Skywalker to carry on the Jedi legacy. Goku vs. Frieza, Dragon Ball Z. Flaunting his power as the Galactic Emperor who rules countless planets, Frieza had destroyed planet Vegeta, nearly wiping out all of its indigenous race, the Saiyans. And this is why Goku needed to take action. A Saiyan himself, he was sent to Earth as a baby before Frieza's destruction. And growing up, Goku would eventually learn that his family and his entire race had been wiped out by Frieza. This clash on the planet Namek rewrites the definition of over the top, and by the time it kicks off, Frieza had already bulldozed through half the characters on the show. And while Goku's no stranger to being pushed to his limits, Frieza is basically a whole different beast, as he cycles through different forms faster than anyone has ever thought was possible. The early exchanges are so fast that you could blink and miss like 50 moves. Shockwaves from the punches vibrate mountains, and craters appear just from their missed attacks. Frieza delivers villain speeches between blows, while Goku answers with a kind of dead serious determination that tells you this isn't just another tournament fight. But things truly escalate after Frieza casually detonates Goku's best friend Krillin in front of him. Yep, just like that, he blows him up. That's the moment that Goku stops being Planet Wrecker and graduates to Galactic Extinction Event. This is the first Super Saiyan transformation, and it is pure anime bliss. Goku's aura blazes gold, an infinite amount of energy coursing through his body, and Frieza's smug face finally twists into fear for the first time. Even when Frieza pushes to 100% power, veins bulging like an overinflated bodybuilder, Goku's still more than he can handle. This eventually leads our hero to completely defeat Frieza and simply leave Namek, which had already endured too much damage, and ends up exploding with Frieza still on it. But in typical Dragon Ball fashion, Frieza's defeated, but not dead. No one ever really dies in this show. Batman vs. Bane, The Dark Knight Rises. Most Batman fights have him swooping in from the shadows, taking out thugs with stealth and unique tech gadgets worthy of the billionaire that he is, but the fight with Bane throws all of that out the window, and spoiler, it doesn't go great for the Bat. From the first punch, it's clear that Bane is a different breed. He is built like a truck, and Batman's blows do nothing to him. Every hit that Batman lands feels like it's bouncing off of body armor, while every counter from Bane is about as painful as when Batman lost his parents. The cinematography makes the fight brutal in a way that Batman movies hadn't shown before. There are no quick cuts and no flashy choreography, it's just raw, unfiltered, ugly power. Bane absolutely dominates, calling out Batman's reliance on theatrics mid-fight and strips away the illusion of fear that's been the beloved anti-hero's greatest weapon. Batman tries to rally, going for grapples and close-range strikes, but Bane shrugs them off and answers with hits that feel and even sound extremely painful. Finally, he hoists Batman over his head and slams him down across his knee in a move ripped straight from the comics, breaking the Bat's back. Crippled, Gotham's hero lies in the dirt as Bane calmly walks away. When they meet again later in the movie, Batman's learned from the loss and he turns the tables, but this first fight, it's the kind of one-sided beatdown that makes you realize the Dark Knight is still just a man. And that's our list of the best 1v1 duels in popular fiction. If you guys like this video, consider sharing it with a friend or just drop us a like. If you want more videos like this, subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss a new one. You can also support the channel further via YouTube memberships, Patreon, or Buy Me a Coffee. We'll be back soon with another video, but for now, BingeBot is logging off.